We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling.
Come back. Here we are.
What are we discussing today?
Well, there's just so much. I guess let's kick it off with that the big hyped up match, Iowa Nebraska, that was going to be the Battle of the Titans and turned out to be just mush.
Boy, wasn't it?
Yeah, boy howdy, wasn't it? Yeah, freaking
Drake Ayala continues the upset train, beating Caleb Smith 7-3.
That was the second time this year too, right?
Yeah, I think Flo has him ranked number one now. 125 rankings, you just take a bunch of names, you shake it up like it's Boggle, and you just pull them out. That's who's number one.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Drake Ayala, people are just again remembering how good he actually is. He was a great wrestler, huge recruit. Spencer Lee owned him in that one-leg soldier salute thing. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, what a scrub this Drake Ayala guy is. And then like, oh wait, like it's Spencer Lee. Like, so now guys are remembering how good Drake Ayala is, and he's, beating the top guys that people kind of expect him to beat when he's at Iowa. I think the marquee matchup was at 133, though.
Yeah.
Brody Teske is not the answer for Iowa. And I don't know if you're an Iowa fan or if you're not an Iowa. I mean, if you're not an Iowa fan, you're probably hoping he stays in the lineup just where he is because, hey.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, this guy's beatable.
But losing, being ranked in the top 10 and losing to Jake Van D, who's like 32nd, and almost getting majored, it was a 6-point decision. Like, how does he keep getting ranked so high? I'll never know.
Because he's from Iowa.
He is from Iowa. I thought Brock Hardy was going to be a little bit closer in the Real Woods match, 8-2 loss. Real Woods remains undefeated, defends that number one spot.
Yeah, I was hoping Hardy was going to have a better match than he did. Like, I mean, it was kind of like the NCAA matchup where he got majored. Like, he didn't really have much of an answer.
Yeah. Similarly, Ridge Lovett, one of the only wins for Nebraska of the night, doesn't bonus Caleb Rathjen.
Yeah,
he wins 6-0 against a guy that's like ranked in the middle of the pack.
Well, a guy that wasn't even the starting guy up until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
I think Lovett is very interesting like that, where he pretty much wins 99% of the time, but it's never like a bonus. He's not a big bonus guy. But I'd rather take a guy that has 100% win rate and a 40% bonus rate than a guy that's got a 70% win rate and a 100% bonus rate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we can't all be like Van D.
No, I thought Peyton Robb was going to bounce back and beat Jared Franek in this match. He ends up losing 5-4.
Didn't Franek get like a last-second takedown?
Yeah, he might have.
Like towards the end of the match, like wasn't that?
It was never in doubt, is what Iowa said for their Twitter.
It was never in doubt, despite him losing going into.
Sounds suspicious. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how he beat Rob, and then funny enough, that's how Blockus beat him. So,
what a great takedown Blockus had on him.
Yeah, that was nice.
We had to watch. I mean, I know me, you, and Jack had to watch it a few times because it's almost like, hey, did Franek trip or
did his foot just magically?
It looks like he got a great low, really low on the ankle, and it was a great shot. Caliendo with the win over Antrell Taylor. Probably not the most exciting match as far as like rankings go.
Yeah, but, I think that was kind of as expected.
Yeah. Pat Kennedy for Iowa, pretty good win over Bubba Wilson of Nebraska, 9-5.
He had beaten him before a year ago.
Yeah. So it's good to see Pat Kennedy kind of return to form. Lenny Pinto was probably the biggest point scorer of the night. He won almost by tech, I believe.
17-5, yeah.
Yeah, it's to Aiden Riggins, really getting after it. Huge major, biggest points scored all night for Nebraska.
Yeah. This one was surprising for me. I was not expecting this to go the way it did.
At 197?
Yeah.
I think Zach Glazier is like, nah, y'all thought the Ferrari stuff was like, luck. I'm that dude. And he majors Silas Allred, returning,
Yep.
defending Big Ten champ
Yeah.
Silas Allred.
Majored him, and Allred gave Max Dean like some pretty good run
Yeah.
for
Oh,
money,
yeah.
and then gets majored. I was like, what? To Glazier? Like, I don't think he would have if he wrestled Jacob Warner, he'd be getting majored.
That was what I saw somebody said too. It's like, it's so nice to have not Jacob Warner in the lineup because Zach Glazier actually tries to wrestle.
Well, hey, yeah, I mean, and he's succeeding at wrestling there by scoring that many points. So, and then the marquee matchup of the night, the polar bear versus Keeter didn't happen.
No, but hey, guess what? He did wrestle a few days later.
Yeah, no, I know. Come on. Why wouldn't you get everyone was hyped up for that match and you could have had it.
Yeah.
Ben versus Nash.
I think for Nash and for a lot of people out there, it just shows the difference between high level wrestling in high school and high level wrestling in college, and how different and how quick and get away from you. I mean, Nash was one of the number one. I think he was like the number one heavyweight in high school. One of the top recruits in the nation for wrestling. And yeah, he's had a really successful college career in football, with a big program like Nebraska. But it just shows the difference between wrestling shape and football shape and how important sport specialization is at that higher level. I mean, Bradley Hill, no offense to him, is not a nationally ranked guy.
No, I know. I was like, what? Bradley Hill won?
Yeah.
What? I I was not expecting that at all, especially when everyone was matching up Ben against him. And
Yeah. The storyline for Ben versus Nash was great, but it just didn't materialize. And it almost like rubbed salt in the wound that like Bradley Hill beat him.
Why did they have him come out 2 days later? Why didn't they just have him out for this?
Just for the hell of
it. Like, it doesn't add up, but whatever.
But yeah, what a dominant win for Iowa. Like,
yeah,
every time you think they're done, they keep coming back.
Yeah, I mean, you thought maybe Iowa State had a chance, then you're like, oh, does Nebraska have a chance? Nebraska's doing pretty good. Maybe they got some good matchups here. No.
The only people that are going to beat Iowa this year are probably Penn State in a dual setting. In a tournament, we'll see what happens. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, tournament setting, it could go any which way. But
yeah. But on the topic of duels, you want to talk Lehigh Cornell?
Oh yeah. Cornell's on a great streak here.
Yeah. If starting at their first match, I mean 133, you got Crookham just text Cornell. It almost makes you wish that Cornell had like a solid 133 to put in that lineup.
Yeah, it's too bad they don't got anybody on that lineup that
Not a single
maybe managed to not give up 5 team points.
Hey, if he even wrestles at all, they win the duel.
Yeah. But they don't want to have 2 losses.
It drives him up a wall because I was like, oh, he should redshirt. And then they're like, what? No, that's crazy. Why would he redshirt? It goes, well, he's not wrestling this year anyway.
Yeah, he basically isn't. Like, this guy
doing all the negatives.
Qureshi has been in most of the time.
He's doing all the drawbacks of taking a red shirt minus the positive. It's like, oh, cool. I'm not training freestyle. I'm not doing freestyle tournaments. I'm not going 125 or /57 kilo. And I already have a loss toward my national championship year, and I'm not training in folk style. So why, if you're basically doing a red shirt minus the perks of doing a red shirt?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense because it's like, oh, well, we need him in the lineup to win duels and stuff. Okay, but then he's not in the lineup.
Yeah. He's sat out more than anybody.
Yeah. And I get people are saying he's injured and stuff, but and that sucks. But how injured are you to be, in for a duel, then out for a duel, then in for a duel, then out for a duel?
Yeah, bobbing in and out like that. Yeah, no, because I mean it's the same thing with against Ohio State. Had he been in the lineup,
they would have won.
Pretty sure that he wouldn't have lost the same way as Qureshi did.
Yeah.
So, if even lost to Buzakis. So, like, yeah. Anyhow, good for Lehigh getting the win over Cornell. Be
How
interesting
about
to see.
I was surprised by a few things in this duel.
Yeah.
I thought Meyer Shapiro was going to bring it more to Max Brignola.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was only
It seemed
8-2.
like, yeah, not even a major. And I'm like, okay, so sometimes I'm up here with the Shapiro hype train. Sometimes I'm down here with the Shapiro hype train.
Yeah,
Um,
he. It seems like how do you do what you did to Bryce Andonian,
yeah,
and then you run into like
twice.
other guys that are not as good, and you can't do you can't get bonus points. Like it's it, I don't. It doesn't. It's not mathin'.
Math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, the math
Um,
ain't mathin'.
Foca with a decision over unranked Jack Wilt. Um,
And that was a 7-point spread though. So
yeah, I mean he was facing a major. How about Michael Beard though over Jacob Cardenas, almost by major?
yeah, that I mean, Beard is getting a lot of those good wins where he's
Yeah,
winning by a good margin. I mean, he beat Lou Dupre 12-1. I was shocked by that. I was like, I don't think I've seen a result where Dupre's been beaten by that large of a margin ever.
I think the 3-point takedown is really opening up a lot of things where guys like, he's never been majored in college before. And now he gets majored. You're like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, that's
Two
true.
takedowns now is worth, what three was.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So
because
it's
I guess
making,
it could have been just 4 takedowns, which is now
yeah.
4 points, which would be an 8-1 instead of a 12-1. But if it was that, but yeah, that definitely is playing a factor. Even though the same threshold, despite the easier way. Yeah,
And
even
then stud 125 for Lehigh is Luke Stanek, beats
yeah,
Brett Unger. Even though it was a close match 3-0, it's, these young Lehigh guys are just not going quietly into the night.
yeah,
Like
I
they're
mean,
not,
yeah.
they're here to stay.
Out of nowhere, Lehigh has two of the top contending 25 and 33 in the country. Like they just had them
Had them the whole time.
sneakily like recruiting these studs. Like what? Because yeah, I don't think anyone had them on their radar. Period. That these guys could be as impactful as they've been knocking off these guys. So kudos to Lehigh for having these guys really excelling so far this season. Yeah. And then I
I
mean Nate,
would.
huh?
Oh, you go first.
I was gonna say Nate Taylor over Luis
Yeah.
Fernandez was still a solid win, 6-2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that was
I
a
mean,
two top 20 guys going at it.
those are probably like the biggest duels of the week, though.
Yeah.
Like Penn State wrestled Indiana. Really nothing to report there.
Yeah, yeah, that was a close one.
I think the most, I think the only two ranked guys that were close was close in ranking at least was Kasak versus Rooks, and that was a 15-0 tech for
Yeah.
Case.
And
Like
then
it
the next
wasn't.
closest would have been it had Washington wrestled because he's
Yeah,
in the top 10. But
yeah. Ducks.
well, he's saving it for Big Tens.
That's it. Um, what else is going on in the wrestling world? Well, there's the news about Gable.
Yeah, that's true, Gable. Yeah.
Surprise, surprise to absolutely no one. He's not returning to wrestle Minnesota.
I think
I
he
know.
just likes being talked about.
I guarantee you he's going to enter the Olympic trials, win it, and then be like, nah, I got to focus on my WWE career, dude.
Yeah,
It's
like
like, why are you doing this, man?
yeah, what are you gaining from doing that? Ugh.
But, it is what it is. I think that, you know, it sucks because Gable could have been, if he focused on, amateur wrestling compared to pro wrestling,
Yeah.
he would have been the greatest, U.S. heavyweight ever. I think that, and we talked about this in previous videos. I think if he redshirts as a freshman, doesn't wrestle against Anthony Cassar, he goes undefeated in college. He's a
Yeah,
four-time national
probably.
champion. He's the next guy, the only guy besides Cale Sanderson to go undefeated. Granted, not with the same amount of wins. I think he runs the table, wins multiple world and Olympic titles, and he's just for years and years and years, just like we're seeing like David Taylor, Kyle Dake, Jordan Burroughs, and even Snyder to a lesser extent, just holding down that 125 kilo spot and just solidifying that Team USA role and really pushing us into the those into the history books. But he's like, nah, man, I'd rather just like pretend to hit people with chairs and like not get a roster spot.
And not get a roster spot.
He's not like the WWE universe is like not taking him in, especially they're rejecting him, which is so funny because like every actual like amateur wrestling fan is like, please, for the love of God, come back. Like we do anything to have you back. Like they want him and he won't come back.
Yeah.
WWE fans don't want him and he's like, please accept me.
Yeah. Keep me here, please. I'd
Yeah.
love to stay. Yeah.
I just can't imagine having so much talent and then like forgoing that to do WWE. I just don't understand it.
No, not at all. It's a big loss for Michigan. Not Michigan,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, huge.
They don't get their king back. But
He really was the guy for
I'm
them.
sure Kirk and Wyatt are like, yes.
We could, speaking of Minnesota, we could talk quick recap on Minnesota versus Iowa,
Oh, that's true.
which was also not very close.
Yeah, no, that was not close. I
Um,
mean, Minnesota has a lot of ranked guys they're ranked in like the top 25 to 30. Not really any of them are in the top 10, but they're like a solid team because top to bottom they have pretty much almost every guy is ranked. But I mean the duel went almost exactly as I would have thought, except for you got the shining moment for Minnesota when in the end of that third period against Jared Franick, Michael Blockus shows that he still is an All-American threat.
Oh, yeah.
Although
Gets that takedown.
He had those early losses this year that made me think maybe he wasn't going to, but
It was one of the closer matches I feel like Real Woods had as well. Woods wrestled Vance Vomber.
oh yeah, Vombar, yeah.
Vombar. And he had a 5-2 win with a guy that's ranked like 22nd. I don't know. Real Woods confused me sometimes like that.
Yeah,
The Michael Blockus match though was huge. I'm sure that people are going bananas for that. 20 seconds left for the takedown, rides out for the win. I almost think the bigger thing though was the premiere of a certain heavyweight.
yeah, I don't get why he wasn't in sooner.
Yeah,
like why did they wait?
But hey, 5-3 win over ranked Bennett Saber.
Yeah, great debut. I mean, definitely athletic and making a does this mean that he's the starter over Bradley Hill? Like,
I don't think they're gonna do it. I think that they're just using his 5 wrestling, his 5
because I thought that was only in the first semester, but
I don't even it's so hard to follow the college rules these days with certain things.
Because I thought that was only first semester, but then why else would they do it unless he was especially if they're not going to start him, like, yeah, let's just burn a year of eligibility in this one duel against this Minnesota guy, and that's it.
I liked how Zach Glazier followed up his performance though. After he's like, "Y'all saw me Major Silas Allred. Now check me out. I'm gonna squeak by a decision against the number 26 ranked wrestler.
I'm gonna squeak by just barely. Watch out for me."
It's like, dude, you have like all this momentum, and now you're like, no, I'm gonna return to Earth.
I'm gonna return to Earth. I beat AJ Ferrari. I beat Silas Allred via major. Now I've used up all my secret juice here.
It's so hard to win every week. Just take a few weeks off.
Yeah. Take a few. No, he's undefeated.
He is.
He can't lose.
And then
that streak alive.
We have Friday too. There's the other big duel, Iowa versus Purdue. A lot of Iowa news lately. I'm excited to see how Matt Ramos gets down with Drake Ayala.
That's true. Maybe Matt Ramos will reclaim the top spot as first place.
And that's really the only match I think is going to be exciting.
No, I thought there was one more. Isn't Minnesota against Nebraska?
Oh yeah.
I mean, not super exciting in that duel, but yeah, no, Purdue. I mean, you got Blaze on. Maybe Blaze will
I
beat
just think, yeah,
beat
Blaze could
Franek,
beat Franek. That would be interesting. I mean, he has the
extend
upset potential.
Franek's loss streak to 2. Unlikely, but that'd be interesting if it did happen.
I'm more concerned with Iowa. Who are they going to send out? If they're going to send out, Keeter, are they going to send out Gabe Arnold at all? Like, you know, just to see what happens. Are they advancing with them? Or are they saying, hey, we're just going to wait it out and put them in for next season and try to reload for another national title run next year?
Yeah.
And kind of, forego this season.
Because I mean, Bradley Hill beats the polar bear and then gets benched. What? You'd think if he lost, maybe they would have benched him, but like he won, and then they get Keeter's debut. So I don't know.
A lot of exciting stuff coming up in the world of wrestling, of college wrestling.
Yeah, no, I mean all these big duels up and coming and whatnot, and it's definitely going to be interesting as they roll through. I mean, I'm getting excited because we're only like 7 weeks out from the conference tournaments, so yeah, it's going to be here before.
We're getting close. I mean, it's the same thing I tell. Like, I'm sure you talk with your high school guys. I talk with my high school guys. I talk with my youth guys as well. I'm like, youth states are a little bit different. High school, I'm like, yeah, guys, like we're super close. Like, you don't know. Like, it's time to start honing in. Like, it's gonna be here before you realize.
Yeah, postseason will be here, and then that's what everything you've been working towards. So,
yep,
it's exciting.
Oh yeah.
See that upset train continue. I mean, this has got to be one of the biggest or the most upsets in a single season that I've ever witnessed. Like it's think almost overwhelming.
I want to say a lot of it's because of the 3-point takedown. I don't know the stats on that. I just think that it's
well, I mean, what else has changed? Has there really been that many significant rule changes that could have affected the points?
With 125s, the graduation of Spencer Lee, you don't realize how much of a gatekeeper he was of kind of keeping order to that weight class. Now that he's not there, it's like, the cat's away, the mice will play.
Matt Ramos is.
I mean, I really think that you could just draw straws for 125, and that'll be your national champion.
And that's the way it's definitely.
Actually, I disregard that. I think you draw straws for 2nd through 8th, and that'll be your All-Americans because clearly Braden Davis is winning the national title.
Oh, clearly, because he's the only remaining undefeated guy besides Luke Stanek.
Yep.
I mean, that is an impressive feat to be the only undefeated guy remaining. But I mean, Luke Stanek's only 3-0, and Braden Davis is 9-0. So like, it's not that many matches. Still plenty of time for that to fall apart or to change, but we shall see. But yeah, let us know down below. What do you think of these previous matchups, upcoming matches?
The season's coming at you fast and furiously. Hope you're ready for it.
Yeah. And thank you for tuning in.
It's been another Cactus Wrestling video.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.